Okay friends, so today we are going to learn about, or in fact learn by doing the idea of 2D composition. So essentially what is 2D composition? As you all must have heard many a times that this terminology has 2D as one of the letters which we always read, and then you have composition, right? So when you do a 2D composition, what do you mean by 2D composition? So 2D means two-dimensional. So two-dimensional compositions क्या होते हैं? Two-dimensional composition ये होते हैं जिसमें कि आप अलग-अलग elements, and if you want to try, you can combine 2-3 different type of elements or shapes or alphabets. So basically you can use shapes and you can use alphabets, you can use profiles, or also you can use elements, you can use patterns. So these are the things which we can use, for creating a 2D composition. So 2D composition effectively means that you have to combine. So whatever you combine, and you create a very interesting two-dimensional composition. So this is the basic idea of what is a composition. So composition means it has to be really interesting, it has to be unique, and it also has to be something different. So the main three characters that we can always define is that it has to be simple to understand and simple to draw, because we have very less time at the time of the exams. We have very less time to draw. Maybe you have 30 minutes or maybe you have 20 minutes. So effectively when you have 20 minutes to 30 minutes time, you have to make sure that your composition has to be very simple to draw. At the same time, it has to be unique, it has to be very different from others, because there will be a lot of people who are going to give the exam, so a lot of students are going to apply for the same exam. So at the same time your composition has to be unique and different. So these are the two most important or rather three most important elements or the ideas while you are starting to draw your composition. So just to rewind, we have shapes, we have alphabets, we have profiles, we have elements, and we have patterns. So patterns are the last thing that we'll try. So first we'll try with shapes. Now you must have heard n number of times about shapes. So what are the basic shapes that we have? We have triangles, we have circle, we have square, and we have from square we can derive rectangles, and from triangle onwards we can create polygons. So polygons, you have pentagon, then you have hexagon, and you have septagon, and so on and so forth. So you have multiple polygons which are having multiple sides to create a shape. Then you have circle, which is a curvilinear object. Then you have a square, which is 4 equal sides, and then you have rectangle, which has 2 opposite equal sides. So we have to use all these as the basic elements when we talk about shapes. And then we have something called as alphabets. Again, if you look at triangle, we can create a lot of alphabets from triangle. So we have A, then we can create N, we can create Z, we can create many more such kind of shapes, alphabets. And when we use circles, so we can have D, then C, also S, and we have O, which is very obvious. Then you have P. So these are the shape alphabets where a circle is used. And then by using square, we have M, we have E, we have F, we have H, we have I, and we have lot many other alphabets. So you can understand by looking at this that when you have a triangle, so if you are making a composition using triangle, circle, square, you can also create a lot of compositions using similar looking alphabets. So when you have alphabets like A and Z and all that, so you can use very similar kind of idea to create that kind of composition. So what we are going to do is we are going to make a composition by using triangle, circle, square, and then maybe we can try with circle, square, and rectangle. And also very important thing which I missed to tell you is about lines. So you can use also lines. You have different type of lines. You have straight lines, you have zigzag lines, you have scribbling lines, then you have wavy lines. So all these lines also are very essential when you talk about composition. Okay, so we'll start with the next stage of it. Once we have understood this stage, we have to start with making practically the composition using lines, and then we'll go for shapes, and then we'll go to alphabets. So what I recommend is to watch the video step by step so that you understand it much better, and it is very clear for you to how architecture student or how a design student or how art student thinks and develops these ideas, and how he can create a very unique compositions by using very similar very simple thoughts. So we'll go step by step. So next stage of this video we'll talk about few examples. Okay, so now we have a blank page with us, and on this page we are going to try a very simple composition. So what I'm going to talk about is a few ideas of how we can create different basic elements, and these elements are going to define the style of compositions that we do. So I'm going to show you a few examples, and based on these examples you can practice on your own, and you can create something unique which can be much better than this tutorial itself. So we are going to start with a very simple frame. So in most of the exams, the space provided is a rectangular frame which is having a 2:3 ratio or 2:4 perfect rectangle ratio. Now in this rectangle, what we are going to use is we are going to think of an idea how we can use this entire space in a very in a very effective manner, and for that we are going to use basic lines. So first of all, the composition is using lines that we are going to try. So when we have lines, so what we do is we see there are 2-3 main things while making a composition. First thing is, as we had mentioned earlier, is simple. So when we think of something very simple, we have to divide, or we have to decide which line will come and cross the area. So if we are using straight lines, then our straight line can be like this, our straight lines can be like this, even this is a straight line, then we have another straight line, and we have another straight line here, and we have a straight line here. So these are the ways how only by using straight lines we can create a very unique composition. Now the second part of the composition is you have to define the space that you are drawing. So there are various ways to define the areas. Now in this particular example, since we are only supposed to use lines, so what I'm doing is I'm just using straight lines as a deciding factor to demarcate an area. So we are going to shade it one by one, and we'll just see how the entire composition comes out when we completely shade it in different lines. And over here, when we are talking about lines, we can use multiple ways of the multiple densities. We can use thickness of lines. So even various thicknesses of lines can also give a very interesting depth to the entire composition. So like in this example, if you see, there are this area where you have lines, and then you have vertical or the slant lines, which are vertical slant lines, and then you have horizontal lines which are demarcating this space. So we have alternately chosen the space which is going to use the vertical lines, and then we have alternate spaces which are using the vertical lines. So horizontal and vertical, we are equally trying to balance it. So what happens is, when we are trying to balance, we have to keep it in our mind that we are going to shade it in such a manner that you have few areas which are very prominent and few areas which are less prominent. So in this case, if you see, there is more density here and there is less density here, but there are more number of lines here. So in a way, this entire composition looks very balanced. And also when we try to balance it, we can try different variations of lines. Like in this case, we have 3 lines, and then we have bigger gap, and then 3 lines and bigger gap, then we have 3 lines. So this is the way we can divide the entire composition to create a simple but at the same time a balanced composition. Now in another example, we will use a different type of curvilinear lines, or maybe wave lines or waves that we call it, and we will try to create a composition which is a very simple composition, but at the same time you are going to think about the kind of areas that you develop. In this case, we have used 2 semicircles. So this semicircle is going out of the frame, so this is okay. Then you have another semicircle here. So we have total 3 semicircles, and we have 3 curve lines. Now in this case also, you have options, like if you want to shade, you can shade. If you want to shade using lines, you can use lines to create your areas of interest. And you have, like in the earlier example, we had seen that you have different ways of showing the lines. So in this case also, we can try making with the lines, and then we can go with the shade. So in this case, if you see, we have very small areas because it's a small diagram. So here we can just start shading. While shading, you can think of ideas of how, you know, more curved lines can be used or they can be incorporated, and then you can develop this idea on your own, and you can, you know, do something which is very unique, and at the same time you can make a very interesting composition again. So here, if you see, you have many ways of using the curved line. So this line is actually creating parallel semicircles, and here you have a bigger area which is almost you know, occupying more than 30% of the area of the composition. So in this case also you can use maybe you can use curve lines. So you can go parallel with the curve of the, you know, the major shape, and then in this case you can use lines like this, and in here you can again so these are the many techniques which you can develop, and using these techniques you can, you know, you can create a lot of compositions, and you can create a lot of variations in the line. And of course you can balance out with contrasting elements, like maybe you can use vertical lines here, and maybe this could have been a vertical line itself. So these areas become more prominent you know, ideas to create. Now very similar kind of example will go into another composition, and we'll see how we can make a very similar looking composition, but at the same time we'll shade it in a different manner. So, you know, with shading there is a lot of logic or a lot of rules that we have that we can think of. Now when we are using shades, what happens is, when you are shading, you have many ways of shading. You can have dark to light tone, then you can have flat one shade tone, then you can have a very light to a gradually increasing you know, a tone which goes towards from light to dark. So these are the ways where you can, you know, shade a particular area, and you can define your you know, composition. Now while I'm making this composition, I'm also trying to think that if I use a particular shade here, I should not repeat the same shade next to this area. Okay, because what happens is, when we are drawing, if we create two similar kind of shade next to each other, it gives a very strong you know, impact, or it creates more density of the composition, and in that manner the entire area will become more focused. So we'll try to make a composition where the elements are spread uniformly, or you have balanced the composition. And to do that, while you are drawing or while you are shading, you have to keep in mind that all your element has to be alternate to each other. So when you are initially shading, you have to think of the areas which are you know, dark, but at the same time they are alternate to each other. They are not immediately adjacent to each other like this, you know. So now just for an example, I have shown you here, you have light and dark shade, but at the same time this area becomes more dense. So your entire focus is seen on this part of the composition, which in a way tries to distract your eyes when you look at a composition, and also it gives a sense of imbalance in the visual composition. So that way we have to think, and we have to be very precise or very thoughtful while we are doing such kind of shading. So obviously when we have done dark shading, so we will try to put some light shades so that we just fill the areas. And I am here just trying to show you very simple thought or simple technique where you can, you know, do some kind of effective shading techniques, and you can develop it on your own because this will take more time. I am trying to show you step-by-step procedure of how to, you know, how to think and how to draw and how to make an interesting composition. Now this area is also a small pocket on one corner, so we'll try to make it dark, and on the other ones we have seen in that case what we are trying to do is we are trying to make, you know, very similar looking you know, elements, but at the same time we are not making it very obvious. What we are trying to do is we are just making it dark and light. So you have dark patches which are alternate, and then you have light patches which are here. So I'm just writing L for your reference, which denotes light. So in this composition you have seen how light and dark shading patches can create a very interesting composition. And in this case you can see there are a lot of lines. So in this line also, if we use this kind of technique where you have a lot of density of lines and very different type of lines, this also becomes very interesting. So we'll just try to rework on this, because now this looks more interesting than this. So we'll come back to this diagram and we'll try to look and try to do something which creates a little bit of more interest into this kind of composition. So right now what I'm doing is I'm just trying to make it little more dark, the areas which have to be highlighted, and at the same time I'm trying to create a effect using different pattern of lines. So you can use your own patterns, like in this case we have two dark lines and one thin line, and then two dark lines, one thin line, then two dark lines and one thin line. So this is one of the pattern that we can use. So effectively your eyes, when you look at this kind of area, automatically your eyes start moving, from one side to the other side. So that's kind of creating a movement, visual movement. And in this case where the curve lines is very dominant, so we'll try to just ease out few lines, and we are trying to make little dark patches, but at the same time these dark patches are creating a very dominant impact. When I say dominant, it means very strong impact. So in design you have many pointers which you can use your own variations. The beauty of design is that whenever you draw or whenever you shade, you have your own logic, or you have your own ways of drawing them. So it's all up to you. It all depends on your experiences and your ideas, what you want to develop. So one person might like it, one person might not like it, but at the same time we have to wonder or we have to think about how to make it more interesting. So I'm just using a sharp pencil to make the fine lines. And also when you have horizontal lines, you can use little bit of contrasting vertical lines which create a different impact altogether. So you can use various techniques. There are a lot of techniques of shading. So we will do another video of techniques of shading and line work and pencil work. So all these, because it's little rough as of now, because we are just trying to show you different examples very quickly. Right now we are at 20 minutes, so I'm trying to make 3 more options in next 10 minutes or so. So what we'll do is we'll use again few different ways of lines, which is not the straight line or not the curve line, but they are zigzag lines. So in zigzag lines you have there are these peaks and there are these lows, or you call it the valleys. So you can use those techniques, the same kind of element of lines, which makes it more interesting. So in this composition, if you see, we have different variety of ideas. We have different type of zigzag lines, and in this case we have many ways of shading it. Again, we can use the same technique of shading with different tones of shades, or maybe different densities of lines, like 1 and 2 option. So this option has lot of opportunities or lot of ways how we can make it look very interesting. So in this case we'll try to highlight the areas which are created by using these small rhombuses or these small triangles or the zigzag lines that we have used. So ultimately it is creating a very interesting impact on our eyes. It looks like we are moving our eyes up and down, up and down, up and down, and like that. So with that also we can create a lot of interesting visual compositions. In this case we are just making a very simple or a very defined way of highlighting the lines. Now in this case, if you have noticed, then we have a very bigger space which is a continuous space, and we have these small rectangles, small rhombuses, we have small rhombuses which are created, and also we have few small triangles, like you have this area, and then you have this area, you have this area. So these triangles can be worked out at the end, but majorly the areas that we have to define has to be here. So if we are using slant lines from here, we can use a different type of lines which are slant lines from the other direction. So with simple lines we can create lot of variations. Now you can see all the areas are defined, and now it looks more like a very interesting composition. So this areas we have intentionally kept white, or you can say blank, and all the other areas are highlighted. So what we'll do is we'll try and make it a little more darker so that you can see the overall impact on your on your screen. So in this case, if you see, you have lot of lines which are coming, and in one direction, then you have lines from the other direction. And you might think that what we do with the blank lines. So either we keep them blank because we have to balance the overall composition, so you have a patch of lines which are at the bottom and the top, so all these areas are getting divided and also is getting very interestingly balanced because of this white patch. So it's up to us if you want to use it or we want to keep it blank. So there are many ways how compositions can be created. So we have seen 4 examples. Now another example which we'll see is using alphabets. So now when we have shapes, if you remember, I spoke about triangle, circle, square, all these basic shapes to use in a composition. So when we are using shapes or lines or curves, we can also use basic shapes. So the basic shapes have triangle, circle, square. From square we can develop a rectangle, and from circle we have hemisphere, or you can say semicircle. From triangles we can create rhombuses, which are double the size of the triangle. So in this case we are just very simply using a triangle, circle and a square. Okay, and if you want you can multiply the triangle. If you want you can use 2 triangles, you can use 1 more square here. The square can be inside the composition, it can go a little bit outside the composition. That's up to you if you want to create that kind of dynamic composition. And very similarly, if you visualize, so here you have a triangle. Again you can use various techniques of shading the triangle, and then you have square, so you can shade the square with very parallel lines which are parallel to the edges of the square. And then again you have a triangle, so one side, from one edge you create parallel lines which is shading the triangle again. And then because we have used a triangle which is with one side parallel, with all the lines which are parallel to one side, in this case what we'll do is we'll create vertical lines which are parallel to the vertical edges of the square. So now in this case, if you see, you have a bigger circle and you have all the elements which are shaded. So what we have intentionally left out is the overlapping areas between 2 shapes. So these areas are the most crucial or most critical areas when you look at this composition. So what we'll do is we'll just leave them empty as of now, and we are going to create some other, we are going to shade some other areas so that the impact of the composition you can see in the further video. So right now we have used different techniques. You have seen different lines and also different gradation of lines. So as you have seen, we have used different types of lines. We have thinner lines and we have wide lines, or lines with wider gap in between. And then we have another space which is here. So here also we can use very different pattern of lines. We can have 3 lines together, something like this. So here you can see how different ways of just keeping the density in between the lines. If we change the density of lines, we can also change the composition overall. And because the central circle area is more it's the core of the composition, so we can use some kind of vertical lines maybe, which is completely contrasting the entire composition of shapes here. So I have like intentionally used this vertical line just to make this circle a little different in the entire composition. So this is one way how we can do this composition. The last or the 6th option where we have alphabet, so we can use different, like in the earlier example we had triangle. So from triangle we can create alphabet A, and then we can use alphabet B, which is a little bigger, and then we have alphabet maybe N, which is going right across the composition here. Maybe you can use a simple O, which is on this edge, and then because they are single line diagrams, so what we'll do is we'll make them little thicker, we'll give them little thickness, and the entire alphabet can be highlighted. So from single line we are developing double line alphabets. So there are many ways to draw the alphabet. You can use center line as a technique where you make the center line and then you make the alphabet thick. In this case what we have done is we have just made a rough diagram, and out of that rough diagram we have created another idea of the alphabets as element of composition. So in this case we have alphabet A, so what we'll do is we'll just shade alphabet A inside, and while doing that we have to keep in mind that the entire alphabet is one letter, so and it is one shape, it has one set of boundary, so we'll highlight that boundary so that the alphabet is more strong and more clearer in the compositions. And then you have alphabet B, so alphabet B can have vertical lines because it's a bigger alphabet in the composition. So this is a very rapid composition that we are trying to do, so we are not trying to make it very neat looking, but at the same time we're just trying to understand the basics of how these compositions can be done. Now in this N we have overlapping element of the alphabet, so in this overlap we'll create lines which are parallel to the letter N, and then we'll use different angle of lines to coincide with the shape so that it is completely different. And then this O can have horizontal lines again, and this overlap area of B and O, maybe we can use a combination of vertical and horizontal line, so we can have a grid kind of or a mesh kind of overlap there, and then we can have this kind of overlap here, and then we can have another overlap which is this kind of shape. So here you have seen how just by overlapping the lines you create a overlap and a mesh kind of shading. And then you have horizontal lines just to give the idea of background, and here also we are trying to create a contrast of lines. See, the idea of this composition is to create a highlight So you can see how using alphabets we can create a composition. So we had like different ideas. So we had lines, then we had curve lines, then curve lines with shade, then we had zigzag lines, then we had basic shapes, and finally at the end we had alphabets is the element of 2D composition. So you can have a view of all the 6 varieties of compositions, and I hope that this small tutorial you have understood, or maybe you have got the basics of how using very simple lines you can create a composition, and how the entire composition looks very different and very unique when we are taking care of the where we are taking consideration of the shapes and the profiles that we are using in the composition. So I hope this video is useful to you, and if you have any more queries, or if you want to learn more, or if you have any doubts in your mind, you can always comment in our video section below our videos, and obviously you can also email to our email ID, which is provided at the end of the video, and you can get back to us. So please follow these simple ideas, or maybe you can develop your own ideas. When you practice, you have to keep innovating or keep making yourself more creative. So thank you very much. I hope this video gives you a fair idea about what a basic composition looks like in two-dimensional form, and maybe we can practice a little bit more together. Okay, so thank you very much, and see you soon. Bye bye.